Well, uh, little trickery, little trickery at yesterday's Lynn Haven City Commission meeting. At every city commission meeting in all the municipalities and in the county, there is an agenda that is posted and made public so that people can know what it is that they're going to vote on, what it is they're going to talk about. But what they did was they listed as item, I think it was 16 or 18, way down to the bottom. They listed as a discussion and possible vote on the Kinsaul Splash Pad over in Lynn Haven, a little mini water park kind of for the kids. And boy, this is really not what it was about. Really, what it was about was a skateboard park they want to bring, but they didn't say that because they knew it would be incredibly unpopular, and it is. I'm going to show you the vote yesterday. I'm going to show you how sneaky and deceitful Mayor, again, surprise, surprise, Mayor Jessie Nelson was, and the city manager. Her name was on this. This is her push to get rid of the first step. Bernie, it wasn't for that. It was for a review. Yeah, right. I'm going to show you the vote. It's only 2 minutes long, but we're going to review it. And I also want to look at your questions. I want to know how many of you use these very popular parks that are wonderful in the hot months, little water parks, one on each side, east and west of Highway 77. And they were made that way so that the kids who use the parks could ride their bikes there and ride their bikes home. They wouldn't have to cross a busy street. It was voted on in 2016. And I think they were finished in 2018. $150,000 to build the parks. Lynn Haven Mayor Margo Anderson herself raised an additional $3,000 in private money so that she could give it to James Finch and enrich him, right? You get it? No, that's not. Just kidding, FBI. Sheriff Tommy Ford and the Public Trust Unit is a joke. Next time I'll see you on a FBI memo, one of those 302s. Vicky Gaynor says that Bernie Thompson claims. My name's appeared on those because, anyway. No, she raised $3,000 in private money for chairs and umbrellas. James Finch donated $25,000 for extra fixtures at the Kinsaul Park that they want to demolish. All right, I'm going to show you the vote in just a moment. But first, in less than a week, Panama City gets to vote in the runoff election for their mayor. It's a tight race, and they finally have a chance to vote for a mayor who puts the citizens ahead of the big developers. This is a paid ad. I don't have to tell you that. It's the internet, but I want you to know that. Doc Rowan is running for mayor of Panama City. The city wants to spend $170 million to build a new civic center. They could have restored it for $12 million. Why are they so determined to spend more than $150 million than they should? And they want to shut down the boat ramp in the marina. If they have their way, generations of boaters and fishermen would become second-class citizens. It's time for a mayor who puts you first, rather than the big developers. Vote for Doc Rowan on or before April 18th. Okay. So, and also, by the way, these splash pads, one on each side of Highway 77, again, so the kids could ride their bikes there and back, that were paid for out of impact fees dedicated to the parks, $150,000 each. I told you about that. They were supposed to be open all year long, every month, except for December, January, February. So the 3 coldest winter months. But every other month, they're supposed to be open. Lynn Haven officials are not opening the Kane Griffin splash pad until June. So parents with little kids could be enjoying the park like they're supposed to be able to. But nope, not doing it. The water is sensor operated. And who really thinks it's any more dangerous, the water, than any other park? That's part of the excuses given by city manager Vicki Gaynor and Mayor Jesse Nelson, who's really pushing for this. All right, I'm going to show you the vote. I know Facebook's doing a terrible job notifying people about the show, but I know that this has really hit a nerve with a lot of you. Mayor Anderson herself posted it on her page, on her Facebook page. This was one of her really crowning achievements that the people loved and that she was very, very proud of. And some of us, I can't help but think that this is another example of the pettiness behind the current mayor and city manager and some of the others who just want to do away with anything that reminds the people of Mayor Margot Anderson and James Finch, for that matter. He donated $25,000 in private money to add to the fixtures at Kinsaul Park, the one, as it happens, I believe is named after him, the park, the splash pad. And so, shut it down, tear it down, erase any memory of them, all the good things they did. All right. So if you know anybody who might be interested in this topic, I hope that you'll tag them, let them know, because I want you to see how the vote went down. And I'm going to show that to you. Let's do that first. All right. Here it is. And I want to pay close attention to this. So I'm going to blow up the screen. I put some captions throughout this short 2-minute video of the vote that I want, please pay close attention to. And I'm going to actually show it twice. I made a mistake, though, in one of the captions. They did not put skateboard discussion in the agenda. So the public, when Mayor Nelson says, are there any comments from the public? Of course, there's no comments from the public that they want to replace, Kinsaul Splash Pad, the Kinsaul Park Splash Pad, with a skateboard park for adults. For adults and for teenagers, they say. But what I wrote in the caption is, the public didn't know because it was on the agenda. I meant to write, the public didn't know because it was not on the agenda. So I made a mistake in the caption there. But let's watch this.
After the storm, we went out and assessed Splash Pad, Kinsaul Park. It was pretty damaged, a lot of it. We were able to get the fence back up, and but most of the equipment in there was severely damaged. And so we anticipate that this will probably be a total loss. We know that we still have one splash pad, which is at Kane Griffin, that will be functioning for this summer. But we know that this particular area will be closed down. And so I know that the commission a couple of months ago, maybe almost a year ago, you were looking at other ways to maybe utilize that area. So this is a great time to kind of have this conversation as to where we want to go with this.
I know Friday, I brought up the fact that I think that area would be good for maybe a small scale skate park, as we've had several teens and even some adults in our local community ask about having a skate park in Lynn Haven. And so I know the sports complex has a lot of different activities out there, a lot of fields. And so I think this will sort of be unique for the Kinsaul Park area to be able to have like a skating park in that area. So that's what I would suggest. And I know we discussed that on Friday, and I think we sort of had a consensus about maybe exploring that idea of what it would look like for a skate park. So If someone would consider making a motion to direct city manager and staff to explore the possibilities of having a skate park there in Kinsaul.
Yeah, I'll move to ask the city manager to do an exploratory, I guess, deal on how much it would cost and what it would take to replace this with a skate park.
Is there a second for that?
I'll second it.
All right, motion, second by Commissioner Ward. Is there discussion from the public? All right, city manager, if you call the vote.
Commissioner Aldridge,
Yes.
Commissioner Ward,
Yes.
Commissioner Vandegrift,
Yes.
Commissioner Purnell,
Yes.
Mayor Nelson.
Yes, motion passed. Look forward to the follow-up on that discovery.
All right. I'm gonna show that to you again, but did you catch all those little things? So the biggest problem with this procedurally, and I'm looking at your comments, do you use the park? Do you want to keep the Kinsaul Park splash pad? Is it important to you? I think that's the one that's named after James Finch, who donated $25,000 to it for additional fixtures. How important is this for the kids in Lynn Haven? From the comments, and I'll show you some of them, it's people are not real happy at all. But procedurally, the biggest problem about this is the deceitful way that they did this. It was listed as, and I posted, it's in the video. It is listed as a discussion and possible vote on the Kinsaul splash pad. But what it was really was a push for a skate park. There was nothing on the agenda. If these were honest people, I mean, basic decency, it would have said a discussion on replacing the Kinsaul splash pad for a skateboard park for adults and teenagers. That's what they would have said, not to, I'm going to look and see exactly. Okay, look at this. All right, let's see here. See that? Discussion and approval. Holy smokes. Discussion and approval of the Kinsaul splash pad. That's what they said on the agenda. So you're thinking, oh, good, I don't need to go to make sure they're going to demolish it. Did that say anything about getting rid of it? I cannot believe how dishonest these people are. And I really can't believe. Oh, never mind. I don't want to get into all that. It was about a skateboard. Now they're going to say, Bernie, we're just looking into the feasibility. You're not talking about the extensive damage and how dangerous water is for the kids. And, all of that. You know what first and secondly, there was no discussion at all. None. If you were on the commission, what would you have asked? I'm going to look at you. If you were on the commission, any discussion from the commission, I mean, I would have said, well, okay, what do you mean? What kind of study? Like, how much, who's doing it? Who's reviewing this? How much is that going to cost? What about the insurance money? Let me see what you guys are saying here. Why are they not going to the designer and builder due to a faulty design? And where is the insurance money for it going? I don't know if there was a faulty design. I've never heard that. Insurance is giving city $200,000 for damage to the Kinsaul splash pad. You know, it only cost $150,000 for that to build that park. You say, Bernie, prices have gone up. Where have you been since the election? This is hugely important to the families of Lynn Haven as well as numerous families in Bay County. I am so sorry. I know my kids are adults now, but I know how wonderful that must be for little kids. And the fact that Mayor Anderson had one, it was a 3-2 vote in 2016 for this, by the way. There's one on the east side of Highway 77 and one on the west side. And the reason for that was for safety for the kids. So they didn't have to ride their bikes and walk across the busy 77. So what is the city doing now? Well, if you still want to use the one at King Griffith, well, that's going to be open in June. But you got to cross the busy highway to get to it. It's supposed to be open every single month except December, January, and February. The city manager and the mayor and the council members who played their roles in this vote, I'm going to show it to you again because to me it's very obvious. I believe, and this is a guess now, everything else I've told you is factual, okay, but this now is a guess. You look closely, and I watch these meetings in different cities very closely. They are not supposed to talk about this stuff with each other before the meetings. And if you watch the choreography, to me, it certainly looks like they know in advance who's making the first, who's making the second. One time, Mayor Nelson even told Commissioner Judy Vandergriff, go ahead and make the motion. This is illegal. But watch this again, okay? Watch how they have all of a sudden bring up a skate park. And then no discussion at all. And then when the mayor says, can I get somebody to make a motion? He looks right at Brandon Aldridge. Brandon Aldridge, who is the worst of the worst, of course he makes the motion for whoever's got the deal coming up on all of this. And then they need a second. And you can see from the outset, even before the mayor calls for the motion, you can see that Commissioner Jamie Warwick is very uncomfortable because I think he knows it's his job to make the second if nobody else does, and they wait. And finally, Jamie says, I'll make the second, and pushes the microphone away and takes a big swig of water. He is not comfortable with this. And then you have Judy Vandergriff who says, yes, but she wants to make, the histrionics, the theatrics, yes. And then Pat Perno gets an Academy Award. The vice mayor pauses. Yes. How about just say no? It's okay to say no. Watch the choreography. Watch how this is not what was in the agenda. They lied. They deceived the public so nobody would be there. Do you think people would have gone there if it said a discussion on replacing the Kinsaul Splash Pad with a skateboard park for adults and teenagers? They didn't say that because they're deceitful. And Commissioner Jamie Warwick and Commissioner Judy Tinder and Vice Mayor Pat Perno, you all should say something about that. Commissioner comments that we need to be more accurate on the agenda so the public knows what we're going to be discussing here, because this was a lie. Discussion and approval of Kinsaul Park put on there by, of course, City Manager Vicki Gaynor. All right, let's watch it again. I want you to watch it again. Will you please take a look at their body language and how the mayor, when he calls for it, looks at Brandon Aldridge. And then when they're waiting for the second, you've got both Pat Perno and Aldridge looking over like, Jamie. Jamie says, I'll second it, pushes the mic back, takes a big sip of his drink because he wasn't happy about it. Watch. Here we go. All right. I'm going to put it right here. Watch close.
After the storm, we went out and assessed Splash Pad, Kinsaul Park. It was pretty damaged, a lot of it. We were able to get the fence back up, and but most of the equipment in there was severely damaged. And so we anticipate that this will probably be a total loss. We know that we still have one splash pad, which is at Cane Griffin, that will be functioning for this summer. But we know that this particular area will be closed down. And so I know that the commission a couple of months ago, maybe almost a year ago, you were looking at other ways to maybe utilize that area. So this is a great time to kind of have this conversation as to where we want to go with this.
I know Friday, I brought up the fact that I think that area would be good for maybe a small scale skate park, as we've had several teens and even some adults in our local community ask about having a skate park in Lynn Haven. And so I know the sports complex has a lot of different activities out there, a lot of fields. And so I think this will sort of be unique for the Kinsaul Park area to be able to have like a skating park in that area. So that's what I would suggest. And I know we discussed that on Friday, and I think we sort of had a consensus about maybe exploring that idea of what it would look like for a skate park. So if someone would consider making a motion to direct city manager and staff to explore the possibilities of having a skate park there in Kinsaul.
Looking at Aldridge.
Yeah, I'll move to ask the city manager to do an exploratory, I guess.
Now look at Vice Mayor Perno. He's looking over. Jamie, are you on board? He's looking back. Jamie's just to the right of city manager Vicky Gaynor. And you'll see Aldridge glance over at him too, because clearly Jamie Warwick does not want to second it, but he knows his role. He knows what he's supposed to do. Watch those two guys, Aldridge and Perno. Watch them looking over at Warwick. This thing is so orchestrated.
Deal on how much it would cost or what it would take to replace this with a skate park.
Is there a second for that?
I'll second it.
All right, motion, second by Commissioner Ward. Is there a discussion from the public? All right, city manager, if you call the vote.
Commissioner Aldridge,
Yes.
Commissioner Warwick,
Yes.
Commissioner Vandegrift,
Yes.
Commissioner Perno,
Yes.
Mayor Nelson.
Yes, motion passed. Look forward to the follow-up on that discovery.
All right. Well, what do you think of that? I'm going to look at your comments right now. Isn't that disgusting? Isn't that just absolutely just awful? Let's see here. This would be illegal. And this is former Commissioner Judy Tinder who would know. The city manager cannot, by law, violates open government sunshine law. She cannot be what's known as an intermediary. She cannot talk individually to each. If she's doing this, it's illegal. But she's allowed to do illegal things. City manager Vicky Gaynor. She's allowed to lie to the FBI. She lied about me to the FBI, and I ended up on an FBI memo. I know she lies to the FBI. I've seen her. Demonstrably says one thing in an FBI memo and another thing when she's on the stand, but she's allowed to lie to the FBI. She's got major protection for some reason. So if she is being an intermediary and telling each commissioner what the other commissioner is going to do, Hell, why wouldn't she? She knows that she can do anything. Wow. Rhonda says their intent is clear. That's right. Gray for Bay. If you don't want to turn the city into an HOA, vote for Gray. Tuesday, Super Tuesday. Early voting now. If you want to get Brian Gray on there, I hope you do. PC Mommy and Me Moms Together and other groups utilize that splash pad. I sure hope, Nia, that you tell all of them about this. Show them that vote. I mean, was that dishonest, deceitful, or what? Saying that they were going to discuss and approve the Kinsaul splash pad, and then they do this? Look, by the way, I'm all for a skate park. There's room to do it in the city. But this looks petty to me. They would hurt, it's my opinion, that the city manager and the mayor, and hell, maybe the rest of them, Jamie Warwick, for sure Brandon Aldridge, they can't stand the most popular mayor in history, Mayor Anderson, who was framed. Bernie, how could you say that? Oh, just because she was hit with 64 charges, all which were dropped. She faced 1,050 years in prison. All the charges were dropped, but they got her out of office, which was the goal. But now we got to erase her memory. And James Finch's. Wow. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. It really is the craziest thing I've ever seen. I figured out what's happening, but there's a big play going on, but the big play allows all the little petty stuff, all the chicken shit stuff. Sorry if there's kids. Kids, if you're watching on the splash pad, Mr. Bernie should not have said that. He's just upset because he's trying to keep the water park open for you. So I'm sorry. Now, if I was talking about another topic, kids, sometimes I say those things, but I shouldn't have said it today. And it takes a lot of self-discipline not to curse like a mofo right now over this stuff. Oh my gosh. Yes, it is. Those are the right words, Gray for Bay. That's bamboozle and Shanghai. And it is only the beginning. As long as Lynn Haven residents continue to turn a blind eye, this will continue on. It appears that way. Well, it's up to you all now. This is your, if you use this, and I really like what Nia said. Nia, that's who has some pull around here, is the PC Mommy and Me and Moms. I almost said, look, they're the ones that have the weight to do something about it. But I looked again and I said, I better use a different word. For sure, the pull, right? The PC Mommy and Me's got the pull, not the weight, the pull. And so do moms together. Seriously. You should see what the pickleball brigade did in Panama City Beach. A bunch of seniors came in with jars of pickles, and the pickleball brigade did what it was a great lesson in civics. They came in and worked with the commissioners, the council members in Panama City Beach, and they got what they were hoping to get, what a city ought to provide for the residents, for the citizens. Services, that's the stuff they're supposed to do. You know, I don't know who needs to hear this, but a city commission does not exist to enrich their contractor friends. You say that's why we got rid of Margot and James. You know better than that. You know, we've shown that here's the difference. The other contractors and developers don't loan cities their own money at half the interest rate over 30 years and say, don't pay me till the job's done, because they love the city. No good deed goes unpunished if you James Finch, evidently. But no, the commissioners, city governments don't exist to try to get millions of dollars in federal grants to award to their friends and get kickbacks. No. What they should be doing is providing little services like this that make your quality of life better. And for the skateboarders too. It's not either or. That's the key. Yeah, I hear you. Lynn Haven neighbors started fun to keep it open. Not sure if you saw that. I look, Tiffany, God bless them. But Lynn Haven has the money. It's not very expensive. Their first dollars, I would never. They pay millions of dollars to consultants before they pay the police and the fire department and the parks. The impact fees pay for the park. I would hate to see, you guys are already going to get hammered with more assessments and all kinds of stuff. They've got the money to do it. The right thing to do would be to have emails are a big deal because they're on the record. Email all of them. Have these groups write an email, a respectful email, and have everybody sign it and designate on that email. If this ever goes to court or for the record, we would like the city to count this as all 18 of us who signed this, not just, well, we received one email is all. Now you received one email with 18 people signing on to it. That's how I recommend these emails be written. They've got the money. Just insist that those who represent you represent you. God bless all of you who put your own money into this and say, gosh, we'll pay for it ourselves. That's not what should happen. Keep your money. Every dollar that goes to government is a dollar that is no longer earned, but rather awarded by politicians. We need more dollars in America and in the city that are voluntarily earned, not awarded. So keep those dollars outside of their coffers, in your own pockets. All right. All right. I did the best I could do. You know, I just wanted you to see this, and it's a real slap in the face and real petty and ugly, because I believe that the vindictive city manager, Vicky Gaynor, and the fraud, as far as I'm concerned, in many ways, Mayor Jesse Nelson, and the opportunist and deceitful Brandon Aldridge. These guys, these guys and gals, they're just petty and vindictive. There's room for both of these, and they know that. All right. Boy, they don't care. One thing I've learned is they don't care who it hurts, as long as it makes them feel better. All right. I want to thank those who allow me to do this.
When your life is on the line, hire the lawyer who lives in our community, works in our community, and worships in our community. I'm Al Saulene, your Panama City Beach lawyer. 850-215-0628.
Don't let back pain and neck pain get you down. Find relief at Brown Chiropractic Center on St. Andrews Boulevard in Panama City. Dr. Sherry Brown helps people heal naturally with chiropractic adjustments and deep tissue massage. Call 769-3777. And of course, a big thank you to the Unknown Patriot. Thank you for your support. It really helps being an independent watchdog for you, and to watch these meetings and show you what I see. But that sure looked orchestrated to me. Did it look that way to you? All right, I'll look at your comments some more. I hope you'll share this. Show people that vote. Show people that vote, and maybe take some notes about the important facts about the how the splash pads came to be. I tried to include those in there as well. All right, I'll see you soon. Thanks for being with me.